Hey guys, it's Melissa Merritt, Graphic 45 brand ambassador, and today I'm sharing with you the Graphic 45 monthly challenge for June, which is self-portrait. I made this really cool mini album. It's 6.5 by 8.5, and I love making mini albums, designing them, decorating them, all that good stuff. So I designed this album. It's called Hook and Ladder, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. But real quick, I used Graphic 45's Farmhouse paper collection. I just love this collection with all the plaids. Very cute. And then I used the die cut assortment pack with it. So this video, I'm going to share with you the album and the tutorial. So it's a free tutorial. It goes through on how to make the cover, the pages, and measurements for all the matting and stuff like that. And at the end of the video, I show all the pages with the details on, you know, what I placed for the die cuts and the stickers and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started and show you the inside of the album. So I did start off with putting a picture of myself on the front cover, on the inside, and on the back cover. And these are removable photo mats right here. So I think the black and white style pictures are really cute, especially for this album. So we're going to start off with why it's a hook and ladder. So I do start off with these cute little tags that I put in these pockets. But these pockets are removable and they're tags themselves. So I call it a hook and ladder because I'm hooking the page, the second page to the first page, and then the last page to the middle page. So I'm just hooking all the pages together. So I thought it was a really cute name for this album. And then a large area at the back for photographs. So I really like this style, and it's the same for each page. So we got the pockets, and then the removable pages. So we're going to go ahead and start with showing you the cover, and then we'll go into construction of the pages, and then attaching the pages to the album. And then go through the matting. And again, I give all the measurements in this album, and including all the tags and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. We are going to work on our cover. So we have 3 pieces of chipboard. Our first 2 pieces are 6.5 by 8.5, and that is our cover front and back. And then our spine is 1.5 by 8.5. Then we have our 2 pieces of cardstock that we're going to cover the album with, and that is 8 1/4 by 10 inches. Hopefully my camera will cooperate. Black kind of makes it a little wonky with the colors, but we're going to try our best. So we're going to get our first sheet, and I've already added my tape to my chipboard cover. Let me go ahead and rip that off. Now for my preference, I like a border around my cover to be 3/4 inches. So the normal is either a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inches, and I like my 3/4. So I'm going to line up my Tim Holtz ruler and find my 3/4. So it's 3/4 from the edge and the top and bottom. And it doesn't have to be perfect because the cardstock is black. So that is the front cover. We're going to repeat and do the same with the back cover. But we're going to do it on the opposite side. So our front cover gets the 3/4 inches on the left side, and our back cover is 3/4 from the right side. So I'm placing my ruler. Finding my 3/4 inch mark. My ruler is not centered. I just need to know where my 3/4 is. All right, there we go. And then for our spine piece, we're going to attach it to one side first. And I'm going to fold half of my paper. And I'm going to use a spacer, and a spacer is 2 pieces of chipboard together. And I'm going to have it flush to the side of the first chipboard. And then I'm going to line it up evenly at the top and bottom. There we go. So we can see that it's even at the top and the bottom, and then it has that space right there for us. All right, with the back side, we're going to actually add some tape at the edge, flush to the edge at the top and bottom. And we're going to use our, well, let me remove my tape backing from the chipboard spine. Use my spacer to line it up. Let me hold this better. Spacer to line it up. And I'm going to make sure it's lined up at the top and bottom with the chipboard. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to run my bone folder tip or scoring tool tip around the edge of the chipboard, and this is going to give our cardstock a little bit of a score, which will help fold it when we wrap those edges around. There we go. Then we need to add our tape flush to the edge of the chipboard all the way around, skipping the gaps. Now that we have tape around the edges, we're going to trim the corners. So the corners get trimmed 1/8 from the chipboard corner at an angle. So if you have a Tim Holtz ruler, the first dashed line is our 1/8 line. So we're just going to have, let me zoom in here. We're going to line up the dash. We're just going to have it at an angle. Doesn't have to be perfect. 1/8 inch away. Hold and slice. So we're going to do that to all 4 corners, and it's going to have that little bit of a space, which we will tuck in those corners when we get this edges taped off. So we want to do that to all 4 corners. Next, we're going to fold over the short edges first. So I like to, you can run your finger along the edge or a bone folder. That helps fold that paper, and then we're going to start from the middle and work our way out. Then again, I'm going to run it again over the edge. That gets that edge nice and smooth. Repeat for the other side. Once we got that done, I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to tuck in those corners. So we see where we left that little bit of paper corner edge right here, that 1/8. We're able to tuck in that corner. So you can use your fingernail or your bone folder, just something to tuck in all of those corners. So we're going to tuck in all 4 of those corners and then attach the other 2 sides. So with this, for the long sides, we have these 2 gaps because of the spine. We don't want to push the paper into the gap. So when I use my bone folder or your fingers and run along that edge, I skip that gap section. And then I'm going to roll my paper. And again, skipping that gap section. Skip. I just don't want to put pressure on that weak point. But running that bone folder across that edge, we got that nice and smooth. And then our corners are nice and tucked in. So we have this very clean look. Now we need to work on the inside. Alright, a couple of things. We have to prep it before we put our inside cover paper on. First, I want to hold where those gaps are, which is kind of hard, but I'm going to go ahead and push. I'm trying to push that paper in so when this folds, the paper goes in that crack and doesn't pop out. We want it to go in. Next, we need to add our tape. So we want to cover the whole spine area with tape. And I'm stopping short a ½ inch from the top and bottom, as our inside cover paper will have tape going all the way around it, so we don't need that extra tape. So we're going to cover the entire spine, and then we're going to have one piece on the opposite edge of the spine. Quick tip about adding the tape to the spine area. You want it to be flush to the chipboard. This prevents bubbling when you put your paper on top of it and bend this inward. So we definitely want it flush to the spine area to get a good solid stick and no bubbling. So I'm removing some of the tape so I can add my first piece right here. And I already had my tape. So this is going to be, I already added my adhesive. 1/8 of an inch border. So I'm just putting it in, so it's about 1/8 of an inch border. It's hard to see on the black to make sure that it's even. And then we can add our back piece. So this is going to get attached the same, a 1/8 inch border. And the good thing about black on black, if you're not perfect, can't tell. So I'm just getting a good stick, and then I'm going to hold my hand in the crease of the spine to make sure that paper goes in the spine crack and doesn't bubble out. There we go. So we don't want any of that bubbling to go outwards. We want it to go inwards. And now we have the start of our album cover. Okay, we're going to work on our hook and ladder page. So there's 3 sheets of cardstock, 2 of which are going to be trimmed down even further. So our first sheet is 6 by 7.5, and our other 2 sheets are 6 by 10.5. Now why I say I'm going to trim them down is because I'm going to trim them down just a hair and a half. So my first sheet, the 6 by 7.5, I'm going to put a number 1. That's my first hook piece. Then my second sheet, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 at the corner, and this one's going to get trimmed by 1/16. On a Tim Holtz ruler, you have a dashed line. That first dashed line is 1/8. So, and the solid line is a 1/4. So you have a 1/4, an 1/8, and then half of the 1/8 is a 1/16. I know it's not a normal measurement, but we just want the hook and ladder, each piece gets fit into the piece before it, so it has to be just a little bit smaller. So what I do is I hold my ruler up to my cutting plate, move my paper over 1/16 of an inch, and then trim off. If you're unsure about 1/16, just, you can eyeball it. It's not that thick, it's just a little bit. And then for our third needs to be, I wrote 2. Our third needs to be smaller than the 1/16 one, so we're going to trim this 1/8. So again, I'm going to put that on the cut plate, move my paper over 1/8 of an inch, and then trim off. So now we have our 1/16 and our 1/8. So that's our 3 sheets, and then we need to score them. All right, so we're going to score for our 6 and 7.5. We're going to place it so it's 7.5 along the top, and we're going to score a 1/2 inch, and we're going to score 5.5. For our next 2 pieces, we're going to score 3.5 and 8.5. 3.5 and 8.5. All right, next we need our pocket connectors. This is 1 3/4 by 1 inch, and we're going to score them in half. So we're going to put them on our scoreboard at the 1 inch mark and just score it in half. And we need 6 of those for 1 page. So with our connectors, we got 6 of them and we scored them in half. I'm also going to punch the corners. So I'm using We Are Memory Keepers stub corner punch. And you just punch all 4 corners. And then fold in half. And then add our tape to the inside of the fold. And you do that to all 6 pieces. For our first piece, the 6 by 7.5, we scored it at a 1/2 inch. That 1/2 inch is our tab. So I'm going to fold on the tab and then taper the corners, which is cutting at an angle from the score line inwards. And then we're going to add our tape to the tab. There we go. So this tab is going to get attached to the page. So we're going to fold it inwards, and then our pocket piece is going to get folded going the opposite direction. So we got this accordion type fold. So with our pocket piece and then our connectors, our connector will fold right along that edge and hold it together. But we're not going to put these on just yet because we're going to add our patterned paper to this pocket front first and then attach our connectors. So we're just going to sit this to the side. Our next piece has 2 score lines. So we have our first score line, and this is going to be the flap that fits into the pocket. And then our second score line is our 2-inch pocket piece. So here is our first pocket piece, here's our second. And this guy right here is just going to slide right in to the first pocket. So that's the start of our piece. That was actually, yeah, start of our piece. And then we're going to do the same fold to this one. Fold, and then our pocket. Fold. This is actually number 2. This is our number 3. So each piece should be just a little bit smaller than the other, so it fits right in there. But we don't want to hook these on until our paper's on. So that is our hook and ladder feature. Now we need to get our base page to connect these two. Our base pages is 2 sheets. It is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4 and 7 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're going to score the 7 1/4 by 8 1/4. We're going to place it on on the 7 1/4 line, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. We are going to fold the score lines going the same direction. And the first 1/2 inch score line we're going to go ahead and taper. So it's cutting at an angle. And then we're going to add tape. Okay. Okay, so we're going to attach our 6 1/4 inch piece to this 1/2 inch tab right here. We're going to line it up evenly. There we go. And that is our base page. For the front of the base page, so this is where all of our pieces are going to connect to. So we're going to have a total of 4 hook and ladders on our base pages. So the front, I'm actually going to lay this flat. So for our first piece, we have it taped, and we're going to go ahead and move it down to 1/4 inch from the top and attach it. And then we're going to have it even on both sides, which is roughly about 1/8 inch. I know it's a little harder to see on black, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. Now I can't actually see this because it's too far from me, so I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see it. And again, about 1/4 inch from the top and centered, which is about 1/8 inch on the sides. And that is our first piece, and then we're just going to connect 3 more pieces to each side. And then again, we don't want to so all these pieces fit nicely just right on top of here, and we don't want to close these pockets up until we get some paper on there. So those are going to look really good once we get them all connected. Okay, for matting our pieces, I'm going to start with the back area right here, and that I cut out a full mat. That full mat is 6 by 8, and I already inked all my edges, and I used vintage photo oxide. Let me see if there we go, Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. That or black soot would look good with this paper collection. So with the 3 pocket pieces, we know they're roughly about the same size with a little bit of trimming. And I like kind of a consistency look. So all of my pocket pieces have the same mat. So we have behind the pocket mat and then our pocket piece. So behind the pocket mat is 5 3/4 by 3 inches. And then the pocket piece is 5 3/4 by 1 3/4. So for pocket 1 and pocket 2 is the same measurements. For pocket 3 is a little bit smaller, and that's 5 5/8 by 3 inches, and then 5 5/8 by 1 3/4. So it's just, I kept this second pocket, even though it's just a sliver cut. You can trim your paper to a slither, but it's not going to look too bad since this is only just trimmed a little bit. So it'll still look really good. Still, it's going to have that border on it. You're not going to be able to really tell too much. But feel free to trim a little bit off if you want to do that. So that is the front side of the pocket. The back side is 5 3/4 by 4 3/4 for page 1. For page 2, we have this extra piece, and I did like the consistency of keeping it all the same paper. So this is the same size. This is 5 3/4 by 4 3/4, and this guy down here is 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. For the third pocket, is just a little bit smaller. It's 5 5/8. Sorry, 5 5/8 by 4 3/4, and then 5 5/8 by 3 1/4. And then lastly, the back side, I cut out of this paper right here. So that's the back side of our flap that goes in the pocket. And again, that's 5 3/4 or 5 5/8 and by 3 1/4. So those are all the measurements. Okay, I've matted my pieces. So I got my mats. So next we need to close these up for our pockets. So for our pocket pieces, just fold them in half and stub punch them and add tape. Now these are cut just a little bit shorter than our pocket. So we're going to just line up evenly, pretty much evenly with the paper. And there's our first pocket piece. And then this guy will slide right on in there. And we need to make a next pocket. Looks good. So we just do that to the other two pieces. Oh, let me show you. So kind of just lined it up with the paper. And there we go. All right, I have completed my pocket pieces, matted everything, and now we need to move on to the spine so we can get it attached. So I cut out piece of pattern paper. This is 1.5 inches by 8 1/4, and we're going to just attach it to the center spine area. So I've just marked little pencil marks for the center, or you can eyeball it. Now I covered this paper completely with tape. It's because it's going to be holding our entire pages up, so we want to make sure that it's going to be good and stuck onto our spine here. So I'm just going to line it up. Now that was centered about 1/8 from both sides of the spine edge. Okay, now let's attach our piece without our pocket pieces in there. And we're going to want to put this in this center. And I'm going to mark this one also. Alright, I'm going to take my tape off. And I'm going to line it up. I'm turning this so I can line it up. I did a little mark. And can't see the mark from there, so I'm going to move it up a little bit closer. Nice. And give it a good rubbing. You want to make sure that is nice and stuck. We're going to go ahead and mat the cover and spine. So the cover mat is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4, and it's the same size for inside the cover as well. I'm actually not going to do a full mat. I'm going to put a picture here, so it's not going to need to be a full mat. I'm just going to do bits and pieces. But if you wanted a full mat, again, it's 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then the spine area is 1 3/8 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these with a 1/4 inch border. And I got it matted. It just needs some decorations. I have now made all of my pages. So what's left are pockets and decorating, and any extra tags that I want to add into these pockets. So what I'm going to do is I left purposely 2 sheets alone. So I have this cut apart sheet, which I thought would be good for some tags or some pieces, of course, in the front covers, but in the back has this large area, and a couple of cutouts from the bigger pieces would look good made into a pocket for pictures to go behind. So those pieces, and then this cutout sheet, these 3 pieces right here would be cute for tags, and then some decorative elements for our pages, and additional tags as well. So I left these 2 out, and then whatever leftover pieces that I have, I'll probably use as maybe some additional tags, and then some decorating elements, especially for the front cover. I also have the ephemera pieces to use for decorating as well. So look at all those pieces. All these little curly cues and birds would look super cute on the front of this album. So that's what I'm going to work on. So I do like to decorate my pages first before my tags, because the tags don't have to have a solid piece. They can just be bits and pieces, whatever's left over of your paper. Or that's what I like to do, and that's how I like to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate this and then come back and show you what I did. Okay, let's talk about tags. So I have this bigger size version of the tags, and these tags are 4 3/4 by 4 1/4, and then the mat is 4 1/2 by 4 inches. So we have this guy right here, and then we have from a cutout page, I cut out these guys, and these tags are 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then again, this piece is just a cutout piece, so I cut that out. So we're going to put that there. And then lastly, I did a little just decorating with some scrap pieces and some smaller cutouts. So these guys right here are 2 3/8 by 4 1/2. So I thought those were really cute. I only made 4 of each for each section here. But feel free to make as many tags as you want. I really liked making these cute little ones right here. These were really cute. So there we go. That's my tags for the album. Now that we've completed construction of the album, I'll go ahead and get into little details about it. So first off, I punched the border, which is just a scallop punch, and then use some elements from the collection, and then this is a border out of the paper collection as well. And then I got a bird down there, some more elements. And then a little pocket watch element, which I think is super cute. I love that one. Then of course a picture of myself. So you've seen all this. And then I used, this is a sticker element, and then added a border at the top and bottom just to break it up a little bit. And then I added a border to this guy as well. I just thought it needed that red on red I didn't like, so I added this cute little border. Then we got some stickers from the paper collection, and this is one of my favorite tags. I like not the mince pies, just how I decorated it. And then this piece, I just attached it to the side so you can put your photograph and slide behind it. I did leave a lot of this area blank, or just a sticker at the top, just because it's a big area for photographs. I didn't want to put too much elements on here, that if you did put a photograph, you would cover it up. So I did want it quite open for the back part. I did fussy cut some flowers. I like this little tag too with the border. So I didn't really put anything on the tags. Of course you can. There's plenty of things to do so. I like the open areas for your photographs. But if I was to do some stuff on the tags, it'd probably be something small or something that you can slide your picture behind, like this element, just to have it only half attached so you can slide your piece behind it. I fussy cut out the chicken. It's so cute. And then I added an extra border. So again, these pockets, you can make several of these and have multiple pieces on there. I just didn't want the pockets to be too fat. You want room for your photos. All right, that is it. I broke up some of the, just by doing instead of a full size mat, broke it up into several little pieces. I thought that was really cute. And I'm loving these little curly cues out of the die cut sections. So there we go. That's it. Stub punched some of the corners, and that's it for the album. All right. Thank you for watching.